Welcome in. It is the Redhawks Coaches Show, and we are in Dexter today. We're at the Dexter Wings Etc. location, where they've got just as delicious a menu as they have in Cape Girardeau and Jackson, and that is outside of their award-winning jumbo wings. They have over 70 items on their terrific menu that are not wings, including their freshly made burgers. In fact, I've got the Hugh Jazz burger on the way here. Just ordered that a few moments ago. You can check out their burger menu. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads. Their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos and their deep fried pickle chips. And if you're coming for lunch, their lunch specials start at just $9.49. And they have the NFL Sunday ticket here. You can watch every NFL game during whatever day they're running them. On Sundays, Thursdays, Monday Night Football tonight. You can watch that one. It will be in Los Angeles between the Cowboys and the Chargers. And you wait, it'll be 75% Cowboy fans in Los Angeles. But you can watch it at Wings Etc. It's the home of the Redhawks Coaches Show. Good food, great times, Wings Etc. We're joined by head coach Tom Tuke. How are things, Coach?
Great, yeah. It's a nice little drive down, and sun is shining, so it's off to a good start.
And a big win for your football team on Saturday at Houck Stadium. What'd you think of the crowd? I don't think it was a total sellout. I noticed some seats on the opposing sideline, on Eastern Illinois sideline, but another tremendous turnout.
Yeah, it was just awesome, and of course it started with the parade, but even on Friday, homecoming's my favorite part. There's just a tremendous amount of energy on campus. The parade was great. Just downtown, you could barely move and operate in there, and that's kind of how it should be with a home football game. And so another great crowd. Students showed up. They stayed, which was awesome. I don't know if I've ever felt like this, but for me, one of the biggest moments was I've been here long enough that some of my players have been gone long enough that when they come back, man, it's just like, oh my gosh, I just want to hug your neck. You haven't, it's not like a guy goes home for a year and you see him back, you're like, shit, I don't even need to see you again. But when they're gone 3 or 4 years, you're like, oh my gosh, and that was the best part. And I won't mention names or anything, but we had probably 20 former players back that I coached that had been gone a little bit. And so just to see those guys get to catch up, I got to catch up with a bunch of them on Friday, hear about their lives. The common theme is that adulting's real. I wish I could come back to that Friday walkthrough instead of that Friday closing statement that they got to do. But great opportunity to catch up with some of those guys, so that was special.
Yeah, and I guess the really mature players are appreciative of what's going on at the time that it's happened. But most of us, when we're young, and we don't even think about we savor the moment, savor where you are now. A lot of times we don't do that.
Yeah, it's human nature, right? You're kind of always focused on the future instead of being present, appreciating the people that's invested in you currently.
All right, your football team won the fourth quarter, and I think that, to me, that is that's the headline of what happened on Saturday. Was you were so concerned about that fourth quarter. You had been outscored 76-20 in the fourth quarters of games, but you win the fourth quarter, and it was the difference in the football game. You win it 14-7 in that fourth period.
I agree. Let's start with the negative, so we could just get that out of the way, and then let's come back to the positive.
Okay.
Let's do that. So when you look at it, you say, all right, Coach, what are the worst things that happened in the game? So number one, we lost a turnover margin. Eastern Illinois is a top 5 turnover margin team, and we had been doing good, but we've been on a 2-week bad stretch. We didn't get any. We dropped several interceptions. We aren't creating any takeaways, and then we had 2 that were just giveaways. If a turnover is earned, that's a part of the game. But if you just give the opponent the ball, that's just bad play, bad everything. And And so you're certainly not going to win a championship if we don't win the turnover margin. So that to me is the number one thing. And then probably the thing that's bothered me since is, you know, the game revealed our bad character. Like, I am the coach of a really bad character football team. And it's just hard to be honest with yourself how we got here. But we are. Like, at the end of the day, we had 9 penalties. You know, that's not a well-coached, disciplined team to have 9 penalties. And my team thinks playing hard and playing tough is jumping on a guy on the ground, blocking a guy after he's always on the ground, or talking trash to somebody. Somehow that's what playing hard and that's what playing tough is, right? And so we're not coachable, and we're not coaching well. Like, at the end of the day, if things keep happening, what's that tell you? You're not coaching them, or they're not coachable, you know. And so the piece here that's frustrating is we got guys that get a penalty in UCA for talking trash, and they go out there and do it again. We have players that have 6 unsportsmanlike conduct fouls in their career, and it keeps happening. It keeps happening because I'm not willing to pull them. And their ego, they're not a humble people. Humble people get better. Like, that's the fact, right? And so if they keep running out there with the ones, well, why should they change? And so it's just disappointing how we got here. At the end of the day, like, your talent of a football team, of an organization, that's your floor. Your character's your ceiling. Okay, so we're like, wherever we're at, that's where it is, you know. And so we have a low character football team. It's my job to get us better. But it starts with owning it. Like, life gets better when you get better. But something happens, it's never my fault. You know, we want to point fingers. We want to say it's the offense, or we want to say it's the defense, or this guy did this, or that guy did that. That's why it keeps happening. And then the thing that got me the most fired up is we have that disease that teams get. It's called the disease of me. Like, when we make a play, we don't look for our teammates. We look for the cameras. We can't wait to get over the sideline and look at the stands and just soak up all that. We don't. Like, we're really not about our each other. We say family's important. We say our teammates are the most important thing, but that's not true. Like, we're a fraud. We say those things, but it doesn't align. We don't act that way. And so we got to get it corrected. You know, at the end of the day, leading into the good, we have the goal still in front of us. But we are lying to ourselves if we think we're going to beat a good team and play the same way. We're not. We're going to lose in the fourth quarter just like we did those other good teams until our character improves. Now, like you said, and how you started this whole thing, the biggest positive is we won the fourth quarter. More importantly, how we won it is really the thing that I've been really harping on. We were 2-0 in a 2-minute drive. So our defense was out there right before the half and then at the end of the game, right? And so both 2-minute drives we did well. Our offense ran the ball even though Eastern Illinois knew they were going to run it. We had the ball 9 minutes in the fourth quarter, right? Those are the things that we weren't able to do in the previous games. And that was a quality opponent. That was a quality defense, obviously. So those type of things get you really excited. We pressured the quarterback. That's been a problem. And so as negative as maybe this show has started, I'm talking about our All-Americans, our great players. If you look at our roster, we have some unbelievable kids doing a lot of great things, and we are getting better. But we need our great players to look in the mirror and change, or, you know, you're not going to like how I handle this. And that's the problem. Like, I don't want to lose a relationship with a player. I don't. And so that's kind of why you fail as a parent too, because you don't want to tell them the truth. You can't handle the truth, or you think you're just being mean. But at the end of the day, I'm robbing them. Life is gonna give you that lesson. So do you want it now, or do you want it when you're not playing? one of our keys to victory is think about football. When the applause stops, when the scholarship stops, what do you have? Because it's happening. People don't care if you can catch a ball, throw a ball, run a ball, tackle pretty soon. Now what? What do you have in this life? And at the end of the day, it's like what I said in postgame, like the status symbol of choice. I've met when I was young, it was money. Man, somebody had money, boy, I looked at that and I was like, man, that guy must be something. Or it's a house, or it's a wife or a husband, or some kind of, you know what the true status symbol of life that turns head is? Legit elite character. Period. Like, that's what it is. Ain't your bank account. It's about how you handle your business as a man. Okay? That's what you need to make sure. When we get done playing this game, I need everybody that's done playing to walk out of there with legitimate character. And that's why I was so upset. You know, after the game, we won. We had 7 official visits, recruits in the room, and I let them have it. I was embarrassed. That's why I was so mad. That doesn't reflect me. It's not who I am. My wife turned the light on at 4 in the morning Sunday. She turned the light on and said, hey, let me tell you something. I'm not going to sit here, listen to you huff and puff and wall around, get up and down in bed. We lost 3 straight games. We won a game, and now you can't even sleep. She's really, you know, she comes across as nice. She's really deep down savage. She really deep down savage. So anyway, I can't get distracted, not enjoy the great things we got going, the good kids in our program. But the reality is I've failed up to this point, and that doesn't feel good. You know, and so we got to get better.
And I hear what you're saying. Also, when talking about Geno Hess, who had a big day, the thing that I was impressed with Geno Hess on Saturday, he was out of the game in the 4th quarter. Kevion Robbins scored his first touchdown. Geno Hess was the first guy to greet him on the sideline. I like that.
Shouldn't have went there.
Okay.
So why wasn't Geno in the game in the 4th quarter?
Was he cramping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has he cramped before?
Yes, he has.
Do you remember what game?
It was the
Lindenwood. I'll answer it for you. So why does he keep cramping?
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, and he's going to keep doing that because it's never his fault. You think like, oh my God, I just cramped. Holy cow, what happened? No, it's because your attention to detail and your discipline on doing the things it takes. It's low character. I love Geno Hess. Geno Hess is going to be a Hall of Fame. He is. But I'm not letting him act this way and act like it's okay. That's why he's like this. And if, you know what, if Geno and I's relationship turns bad, then we didn't have a good one to start with. So if me talking about him on the radio and me talking about him in this 4 o'clock meeting affects our relationship to that point, then it is what it is. We got a job to do, and number 1 job is to help him get better at life. So, sorry.
It was a record-setting day for him, Coach. He is now the all-time touchdown leader in rushing in the history of the OVC, and you needed him to have a big day on Saturday.
Yeah. And really, I was really impressed with our offensive staff. You know, the first quarter, they had a pretty good game plan. They were doing some twist stuff and kind of shutting the run game down. And then, you know, they made some adjustments, and, man, we were really able to run the ball because even when Kevion got in there, we were able to run it too. So Geno had a nice day, had some really nice runs. But I was really impressed with how our offense, you know, was able to get better in the run game. O-line had a new starter in the mix. Tyson got his first start as a Red Hawk, our left guard. And so sometimes that changes things up a little bit, but it looked really good. I was impressed with it.
And on defense, it was clear during the game that you were not able to get pressure on the quarterback when you rushed 3. And late in these games, Central Arkansas, SIU, some of these games, late in the games when they scored their touchdowns, you did not bring extra pass rushers. You did on the final play of that game on Saturday. You rushed 5, and it made the difference in the play, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's why you got to be careful. We had a sack on a 3-man rush.
Okay, you did.
So to say absolutely that we didn't get any on 3-man rush is not correct. We had a sack on them. Secondly, we had 4 sacks, and the fact at the end it was kind of touch and go. Do you go prevent, put Eve in the secondary, or do you go after? And Coach Quin did a great job. Kids executed. Guy threw it probably 15 yards deeper than the line of scrimmage because of the pressure. So we ended up finishing. That's the best part, is how you finish the game, so these kids can keep their confidence.
So when you called that final timeout, I know there was some confusion. It looked like maybe a couple of your guys thought you had stopped them on 4th down when the officials said, no, they got the first down. You used the timeout, but that's coming up on the final play of the football game, and that is where you had struggled in the previous 4 games. Did you give them a psychological pep talk, or was it strictly X's and O's?
Yeah, there was no confusion. Like, I don't know what you're talking. We called a timeout because we had to give them.
Okay.
We wanted to see the formation that they fully lined up in.
All right.
So that then they come over and say, hey, it's going to be 3 by 1. So when they do this, you do this type thing. So that's, you had them to burn. You know what I mean? So if you get them to show their formation, right, then you call a timeout. Then you can coach the formation.
Gotcha. And the turnovers, let's talk about them. One, I don't know where Paxton was throwing the ball. If somebody ran a wrong route, if he had a bad read.
It slipped out of his hand.
Okay.
And it was a little misty. You weren't there, but there was a little mist maybe in the, was that in the 2nd and maybe in the 3rd? I'm not exactly sure. But there was a time in there where kind of the ball got a little slip. And so the ball just got away from him a little bit.
Okay.
It still can't happen. But they got their hands on another ball that should have been a pick, and they ended up dropping it. So, on that part. But again, it was a little bit UCA too. UCA had some drops, so we just got to really focus. Again, we're trying to win a championship. Like, you're not going to beat good people and lose a turnover margin. So we got to just continue to build skill. The last fumble, Gino said he didn't feel it in his belly, and just dropped it.
What we couldn't tell, and we got a chance to watch it on replay, about whether or not Paxton was thinking about pulling it, or if Gino wasn't ready for it, but it just fell, and neither one of them even realized
it was an RPO, so we don't ride it and throw it.
Okay.
We catch it and throw it, or we catch it and hand it. We don't do the big rides on the RPOs.
What I thought was also outstanding, they did not score after they got that fumble. Your defense came out onto the field and responded and got the ball back to the offense.
Yeah, that was a huge deal. Not getting any points off a turnover is a big deal, and so that's one of my points. I appreciate you bringing that up, because that was huge and something we haven't been great at.
And if you go back and look at your preview, other than the Hail Mary interception, which technically it's a turnover, I don't consider it a turnover. After your previous turnovers, every single time the opponent scored, every time.
Yeah.
But not on Saturday.
No, it's good. And, you got to have that mindset of be where your feet are. But it's frustrating, right? Somebody just turns it over, but you got to respond. You got to own it, and you don't go out there and make excuses. You don't blame the offense. You go out and do your job, which is to stop them. And they did do that.
And you and I were talking about the late pass breakup by Lawrence Johnson, and there was a question about whether or not it was pass interference, but you've seen the video and you think it was a clean play.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the ball wasn't in the air, so a lot of times when a receiver and a DB are trailed, their feet will. But there was no hand contact whatsoever, and they will never call pass interference on incidental feet contact.
All right. Again, Ryan Flournoy, it just amazes me that he can catch a football. Now, he's got his fingers. They come out of the cast. But it's unbelievable that this guy is playing at the level that he is playing at. He's playing at a very high level.
He is, really is. I love how he plays. I think he's what I want the team to be. When he scores a touchdown, he's not trying to go find a camera. He finds his teammates. He plays tough. He plays the way you want to play. That touchdown right before half was huge to get it back to 14-14. And so he did have a bad penalty, and I think it was an emotional. He had a blindside block that, you got to build skill. I mean, they're going to call that 100 out of 100, and you can't have those type of penalties. But he had another just amazing game.
How much longer is he going to have to wear that cast? Do we know?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't think he'll have to finish the season that way. It all depends on how the bone heals.
Man, just think if he had two hands free, what he'd be doing right now.
Right. Yeah.
So, also, you got Geno Hess involved in the offense as well, Coach. You were starting to more consistently get him involved in the passing game, which is big.
Yeah. Their EIUs underneath zone defenders are really dropping deep. And so some of the check down stuff that Geno was able to do and some of the flat stuff was part of that. They were really trying to make you earn it and was trying to take away the deeper passing game. And, so it was a great job by Paxton and Geno making some of those plays work.
All right, and it's pronounced Kevion and not Kevion. Okay, Kevion Robbins. Tell us a little bit more about him, because we saw more of him, and he had a big touchdown there for you late.
Yeah, he did. Ran great 4 minutes. He's another bigger back like Geno, kid from Georgia, and he's just kind of Mr. Reliable. He's had a couple ball security issues, and even in the fourth quarter he had a couple where he wasn't doubled. It wasn't in jeopardy, but you need to finish in that. And he's just a guy you can really count on. He's going to be where his coaches told him to be and things like that. It's good because we had a little injury there, and so for him to step in and be that backup role has been clutch for us.
Statistically, not the best game of the year for Paxton DeLauren, but man, did he make some plays with his legs. I mean, those were some clutch runs that DeLauren gave you on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. Kind of gets into that third down. A couple of those pulls and run was on third down. He moved the chains. He had a couple amazing third down throws and catches. And defensively, we had a really good outing on third down. We need to get better on fourth down, but third down was another good outing on defense. So third down play by our team's really good.
You're going to win a lot of football games if you go 7 for 13 on third down, as you did on Saturday.
Yeah, totally. I mean, those are critical situations to keep drives alive. And they were hard third downs. They really were. There was a lot of third and longs that we converted, and so it tells you about our talent.
I did not bring it up on our post-game interview, and I was kicking myself after I did not, because we always have a Garber's Menswear best dressed play of the game. And I chose 3rd and 19, pass play to Dalen McDonald. Looked like he got knocked senseless, and somehow, after as hard as he hit the turf, he held on to that football. Yeah. That was as big a play as I think there was in the football game.
Yeah, Dalen, that was a great reception. Just a gutty catch at a really, really important time.
How often do you convert 3rd and 19?
Like none.
Yeah.
So that was huge. And, he's a senior and is going out playing his best ball, which is really cool to see.
All right. What impressed you the most about your defense on Saturday? I know you're probably going to say outside linebackers because we've got Quin Jones here, the outside linebackers coach. We'll be talking to him.
I think the pressure on the quarterback, because that's something we just hadn't been able to get done yet, and it come from multiple spots, so it wasn't just blitzes. There was 3-man, 4-man, and a 5-man sack. So I think those things are probably the most impressive. But the 2-0 and a 2-minute drive, was good. First half and the second to finish the game out. They had a 99-yard drive, right? And we gave up 10 pass plays over 20 yards. And so our secondary is like 120th in the country right now, and we're just not getting it done. And so, but none of the stuff looks like, man, they're just so much better than us. It's that we're having the difference. We're talented, but we're not skillful enough. We got to build skill so that we can get better in our pass defense. So they had a 3-play, 74-play drive, and the 10 catches over 20 yards are the alarming things. Being great on 2-minute, the third down defense, and they couldn't run it. I think they averaged 2.6 or 7 yards a rush. Those things are not easy to get done. And so if we could continue to keep that there and then improve this pass defense, then I think we got a shot. And we take care of some of this other stuff I'm talking about.
All right, when you brought Sam Cook into this program, the transfer from Western Illinois, one of the things you said was, I think he can help us get pressure on the quarterback, and he did on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was a big sack.
It was really big, and it's tough. This is his first semester, and we do a lot with our outside linebackers, and he's still learning, and he's got to continue to be that guy for us. We're counting on him, and he's off to a good start, but I think there's more there.
And for the first time all season, I mean, you had been perfect, which is hard to believe, but it's the first time all year that you were stopped in the red zone.
Yeah.
The first time, but just to be going into that game, 17 trips in the red zone, 17 scores, 14 touchdowns, three field goals, and it took a heck of a goal line stand to keep you out of the end zone there.
No doubt. I mean, it's 4th and 1 in a tight ball game. On the one, you got to go. Of course, you're thinking, if I'd have kicked a field goal there, it'd have been a 2-score game. But if you're that close, you got to capitalize it. We've been on it 100%, but also it's a little bit goes back to our character thing. I think we just thought we were going to just do it. I'm not sure all 11 people really gave their best effort on that play. Because
I didn't see much of a push there from
Right.
behind of your quarterback.
So that's the teaching moments of not, you don't just, you have to earn it every play. Like, they're not just going to give you this stuff.
And, DeMaurier Vic, Coach, it may not statistically have been, a game where he had his most receptions, but he made some big catches in that game.
No, it really did. He's probably been the most consistent guy on the whole team. Like, I can't think of a bad play. I really can't. Like, he's just been a veteran. Love his attitude and his effort and his approach. Really cares about his teammates. I've been so happy for him. I really am.
So with another 35 points on the board from your offense, how much of that is a something where you can really get comfortable, or at least the offensive line? How much did that do for their confidence, that performance on Saturday?
I think it was. I think we've struggled running the ball when they know we're going to run it, and we're able to. So I think those type of things are coming around. We've worked really hard. We've had some tough Mondays around here, and those guys are getting better. Like, I'm excited. And I'll tell you, Danny Joyner, one of the things when we're talking about running game, people don't understand how important tight ends are. There are a lot of times one-on-one blocking. And so I think Danny Joyner, it was the best game Danny Joyner's had in the run game. He had a nice catch too.
Yep.
And so, we were pretty hard on him at Central Arc and some of that. And, he was an example of a guy that took coaching and worked on it and did everything he could. And I think he had one of his better games.
Is this or is this not true? You as a coach, do you have to kind of walk a little bit of a line when you're hard coaching a team after they had lost the way that they had lost, especially after the Central Arkansas game? Can you coach a team harder after a win, which it appears that you are probably doing and are going to do this week?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I tell them the truth. There's no psycho babo. Like, if you can't handle the truth, that's a problem with you. Like, I don't coach them harder when we win and love them up when we no, I tell you what we're not doing well and what we're doing well. And I think that's the problem with society is there's just so many people fake. We need to just be honest with people more often. Like, it's our young people's problem. Like, how many truth tellers do they really have in their life? And so when life gives them the truth, which it will, they can't handle it when they're not good enough, but it's because they haven't built those muscles up to that. Like, when a reporter asks me a question, I answer it. I could be wrong, but I don't not say how I feel. And that's what I do with my team. I tell them how I feel. I remember we're having dinner. First day of school. So what do girls do the first day of school? They're all about the outfit. Right? So we're sitting down, we're taking pictures. At table, they were like, hey, Dad, what'd you think of the outfit? And I was like, hey, Shelby, your shoes were average. I liked up top, liked here, but shoes just made it the thing average. And you would have thought I told them that we're going to get hit by a tornado. They couldn't believe it. I was like, well, you asked. So anyway, throw something funny in there. But I'm kind of being funny, but I'm kind of being serious of just this culture that we have created where we think they can't handle the truth, or we think we're being mean, and we're creating people not capable of hard things by that way, you know.
So in our post-game interview, twice you used the word joke when referring to your football team, and judging by that last response you just gave us, you probably said the exact same thing in the locker room to them.
Yeah, I mean, I usually try to hit the pause button and think through these things, but I mean, I think there are some things, and I'm going to show them video, and if I'm wrong, I hope they say, you know. But that's not what championship teams do. That's what teams that talk about being a champion but aren't willing to be one really do. And that's what I mean, a joke. You're not who you say you are. That's what makes you a joke. I love these guys. I mean, they're great people. Like, they're good academically. They're not getting in trouble. You know, all these type of things. But we all came in here saying we're trying to win a championship, and I'm telling you why we won't. Do with that what you want. Like, do we want to do it or not?
So we're going to talk with outside linebackers coach Quin Jones here momentarily. Coming from a winning culture, I mean, this is a man who was on the TCU staff. They played for the national championship last year. Pretty good pedigree at outside linebackers. Tell us a little bit about how he came to be.
I've got a unique story, but he actually committed to me out of junior college. He committed to play here, then left me hanging. Decommitted, all right, and went to Texas. I was obviously, you know, upset that I got scorned, but when it came around, I had a chance to hire him. The things I loved about him as a player, I love about him as a coach, and I knew that he would be a good fit in my program, even though he didn't know it at the time. And so,
what position did he play in?
He played linebacker.
Okay.
Yep. And so he was a northern Mississippi kid. Went to junior college at a great junior college, and went to Stephen F. Austin. I believe Stephen F. Right. He was a captain, which tells you about his character, tells you about his relational skills. He's great with the kids. They love him. He's off to a great start in recruiting. We got 2 outside linebackers already committed that are really, really good, and a lot has to do with him. And then I was able to give him his first, full-time coaching job, which I've talked about before. That means something to me. And when Quin Jones is in the NFL, I hope he hires me. I can go be his hype man or bodyguard or something. He's not much to look at, but he's a pretty good coach.
So, on your staff, off the top of your head, do you know how many guys are on your staff that you did give them their first Division I
10.
coaching job?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yep. It's something I take pride in, and whether I should or shouldn't, I'm not sure, but 10 years from now, you know, you feel like, man, I had a piece of that. You know, I didn't make that happen, right? They make their careers, but that first full-time job's hard to get. It really is in Division I. I was in my 30s before I got one. And so that's something I really try to, if I can turn back and help someone up, that's what I try to do. Someone did it for me.
And you're probably going to have to Google it or something on YouTube if you're going to be a really good hype man. It just it just doesn't happen overnight.
I might have to.
All right.
I think I can. I'm into dressing up and everything.
All right. Hype man Tom Tukowicz. We'll talk with the outside linebackers coach Quin Jones. He's going to join us when we come back. We're in Dexter today. We'll be back in the Cape location next week for the Redhawks Coaches Show. More from Wings after this timeout on SEMO ESPN. Redhawks Coaches Show. We are in Dexter, Missouri today. And don't forget, if you're wanting to watch the Monday Night Football game tonight or the baseball, we've got 2 baseball games today, the American League and National League Championship Series. You can watch it in high def at any of the Wings, etc. locations in Cape Girardeau, Jackson, or right here in Dexter. And Joe Hobbs is here, and he is feeding his face at the moment, enjoying a bone-in wing. What kind of sauce are we dealing with here? Tweener. All right. I wanted to make sure and do just what his servers do here and wait until there's a mouthful of food to ask a question. And so we got that with Joe. He's got the tweener sauce with the wings. Let's welcome in Quin Jones, the outside linebackers coach. Coach, how are you?
Can't complain. Glad to be here. Excited to be here. Like I said, first go round, so I'm a little anxious, but we'll get that out.
It's a little bit of a drive to get here, isn't it?
Yeah, but we made it happen. Me and Coach Tuke got on the road, and like I said, we're excited to be here.
Okay, so how often have you ridden in that truck of his?
Twice, and I got a chance to drive it twice too, actually. Coming from St. Louis in the summer, coming from one of those camps and stuff like that, and got the second go-round, so I'm obviously doing a pretty good job.
So when you look around, when you're in that Red Hawk wrapped truck of Coach Tuke, how much attention does it garner when you're driving around in that bad boy?
Oh yeah, I'm not playing around. I got to be locked in, laser focused. I feel like the boss man a little bit too, so
So you came from TCU. What was that atmosphere like last year? Because I don't think anybody saw Texas Christian playing for the national championship. I'm sure they believed it in that locker room. But what was that like to be around a team at such a high level the way they played last year?
It was a fun time. It was a lot of great memories that kind of got built, a lot of great talent, a lot of great coaches that was a part of that TCU program. But the biggest thing for us was kind of like just taking it step by step, game by game, and just trusting the process and doing your job and stuff like that. That's one thing that Coach Dykes really harped on. And once we got there January, that was like just the key message for us to just have that thought process. And like you said, we didn't think we were going to be national championship good, but we felt that we was going to be pretty good. And like I said, the ball kind of rolled in our corner here and there. So it was a great time.
All right, we've got to get to the bottom of this controversy. Why did you leave Coach Tuke at the altar there? It sounded like you were coming, and then you didn't come.
I didn't see the vision just then, but then I went to Stephen F. Austin, won 2 football games, and I'm looking up the stats and stuff like that. They're winning conference championships and all that good stuff, and I kept beating myself up. I should have went there, but like I said, the 3rd time's the charm. I'm ready to be here, and Coach Tuke looked out for me, made that happen for me. So like I said, I'm forever indebted in Coach Tuke's heart, and he's forever indebted in mine. So I'm excited.
When did you know you wanted to get into coaching?
Probably since I was really kind of seeing the writing on the wall. I was a 6'1" linebacker, about 200 pounds, nothing too crazy, and I was like, yeah, the playing days might be coming to an end. And I knew I wanted to go to the state of Texas and try to be in the coaching realm, and I knew how big high school football was. Didn't know if I wanted to go college or high school, but that was part of the reason that I went to Stephen F. Austin too. I wanted to go out there to a state that kind of like really looked at football in a different light. But like I said, I feel like my senior year of college was the opportunity for me to just really dive in and see if coaching was something that I wanted to do, and I feel like it's been a great decision so far.
Have you been to a Jackson high school football game?
I have not,
Okay.
but I've heard a lot about it. Coach Quin lets me know.
I wanted to compare because I know how big high school football is in Texas, but it is a different animal at Jackson, Missouri. I can't imagine there is a team in the state, and that includes Webb City, that has more home turnout at home football games than Jackson. I just wanted to compare it to Texas because that is the ticket in Texas, right?
Yeah, it is. But I heard Jackson gets after it too. Like I said, Coach Kuhn's son Zane plays out there. And like I said, they talk about it non-stop in the D-staff room. I know Bryce, we have a former Jackson legend on our team. So like I said, it's some great talent out here too, and great football to be played out here in the state of Missouri too.
Cape Central game a few weeks ago, they had 7,000 people at Jackson.
Wow. Did not know that.
Tell us about it's Nacogdoches, Texas.
Yep, Nacogdoches, Texas. Small town outside of East Texas. That's where I went to play my college ball at Stephen F. Austin State University. Like I said, it was not just the football aspect that I really learned and grew from. It was more being 8 hours from home and kind of like just being on my own 10 toes and kind of just figuring things out on my own. And that's one thing that I wanted to go out there, and it was a great city, great college town type deal. It gave me a Cape Girardeau feeling in a way too. Like I said, it kind of is home, and it is what you make it type deal. And like I said, it was a great time for me and a great experience just to be out there.
So you also spent some time at SMU. Tell us about that. It's kind of ironic now for things that are legal in recruiting and NIL money and everything. SMU got the death penalty for the same things that are going on right now.
Exactly. Like I said, we did things the right way out there. My time at SMU, Coach Dykes was a really good impact on my life. Just giving me my first opportunity. I was a GA with the defensive line. Was under Coach DeRibe. He's the outside linebackers coach at the University of Georgia right now. Like I said, those were just great mentors, and it was a great stopping point in my early coaching career. Like I said, been dreaming about it, of playing on the G5 or coaching at the G5, P5 level, and I got that opportunity right there at SMU to start it off. Like I said, it was a blessing, man. It was a great, just university, great city to be in. 23 years old in the city of Dallas wasn't too bad either, but like I said, it was a fun time, and it was great memories to be made.
It sounds like what happens in Texas stays in Texas to me.
Nah, let's not go that far.
So, So I know all about Macomb, Illinois, because I was born and raised there. I graduated high school in Macomb. We're Western Illinois. I'm excited that they're in our conference. I get to go back to my hometown. But Cape Girardeau is much different than Macomb. So the selling point, did you have a hand in recruiting Sam Cook?
So no, I did not.
Okay.
He was actually here whenever I was first coming in. So I got here early February. He was already put in play. That was Coach Two, Coach Quin, Coach Billings, the old outside linebackers coach. They did a great job in bringing him in. Like I said, he's a great addition to this team, a great addition to the outside linebacker.
Boy, and he got his first sack on Saturday. That was big.
So he had one against Central Arkansas.
He did have one. Okay.
Central Arkansas got his first one, got another one this past Saturday. And like I said, I've been telling those guys just as the season progressed that our time is coming. Like the sacks are coming, the players are coming. They just got to keep trusting it. They got to keep doing their job. And there's a couple more guys in that room that going to kind of pop up on the scene too. And like I said, it's off to a great start. Just got to keep it going and kind of keep making it happen.
So, yes, they did count the sack in Central Arkansas. They are having some stat issues during that game. So they had wrong guys on the field and touchdowns, so I didn't know if he got credit for the sack. But he did. And then also it's Keandre Booker who missed, I think did he miss one game with an injury?
No, sir. He
did not.
He hasn't missed any games just yet, but he's off to a pretty strong start. Been playing pretty solid. Like I said, really want to just kind of keep tapping to him and keep challenging him to kind of just keep playing to his standard and playing to his level. He's off to a great start and going to get him rolling here soon.
Okay, so you were a college player. Do you endorse a football player wearing the number 0? Because he specifically changed to number 0 this year.
I would say you do, but if you're wearing number 0, you got high expectations because as soon as somebody pulls up that team roster, you're the first person that they're looking at. So you got to be the main dude. You got to be a go-getter. And like I said, that's what Keandre Booker has in him. He has that type of skill set. So Coach 2 gave him the chance to get that 0. I know he wanted it, so we made it happen.
All right. What in your mind has changed from game 1 to where you are now at the outside linebacker position?
I would say more so the mindset and the confidence. The confidence of just going out there playing fast, playing physical. Like I said, at first it was a little bit thinking going on just because we are asked to do a lot of things, but the more and more that those guys are understanding the defense and more they're understanding their roles and when I need to come in and make my splash plays, and when I need to go in there and kind of do my job, I feel like that's the thing that's been helping us a whole lot. The confidence piece, and just having us playing confident, being able to do our job at a high level. So it's steady growing. It's a couple things that we want to just see from them more. But like I said, I feel like those guys will do it here soon. They're going to have one of those games that's really going to challenge them, and they're going to be asked to make a key play, and they're going to do it. So I'm excited about it.
How excited do they get when it is a blitz call, when they know that they are going to be sent to rush the quarterback?
I think they're 2 times to 10 times more excited because they don't have to think or process anything. I can just go see ball, hit ball type deal. So that's more the mindset when we kind of get those guys blitzing. It gives them my ability to go out there, play fast, go out there and execute. And like I said, I feel like they're really excited when that happens.
All right. What do you see on film that concerns you about Tennessee Tech on Saturday?
Solid team. Got to do some more research on it, but so far they got some really good backs. They kind of got musical chairs going on in the quarterback room, but all those guys can play. O-line is pretty big. Skilled wide receivers are pretty good too. So it'll be a tough task, and knowing that it's another away game type deal too. So you kind of got to keep those guys locked in, geared up on it, but I feel like we'll be excited and ready to play.
How much do you believe that road trips bond teams? Because you've got seven road games this year.
More than ever, because I just feel like it kind of gives us against the world mentality type deal. You kind of got to go in there with a big chip on your shoulder, know that you're going to have the crowd booing you, whatever it is, but that allows the team and that allows your players and your group and your coaching staff to kind of be there for each other even more so. And that's the message that we try to relate to our guys. And it kind of gives us an extra step of motivation to go out there and kind of take over a home advantage and home crowd that the opposing team may think they have.
And, with every one of these trips, with the exception of UT Martin, they're all 5+ hour bus rides. I mean, you're logging a lot of miles on the bus this year.
Yeah, no doubt. But like I said, it's part of it. Like I said, it's part of it. And the great teams, they're going to find a way. They're going to find a way no matter how far the distance is and no matter what the situation is, we're going to make it happen. And like I said, I feel like the guys have been doing a pretty good job of just kind of shouldering the load of having long away trips and stuff like that. And those guys come out fresh. They come out hot. Coach Knapp and Coach Tuke does a really good job to keep those guys fresh and locked in. And like I said, making pit stops here and there to let those guys stretch out, relax, and whatever it is. So we do a really good job with that, and the guys have been handling it really well.
All right, tell us about Abbeville, Mississippi, your hometown.
Small town located about 10-15 minutes outside of Oxford, Mississippi. It's about 3.5 hours south of here. Like I said, it's home. I'm a country guy. I like to sit back there on the back porch and just hang out and listen to the dragonflies out there outside. I'm a real nature guy and stuff. So, like I said, small town, but it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about work ethic. It taught me a lot about just kind of my core values, which is family, which is having a close knit and having a love for a community that's really going to pour back into you. And I feel that is Abbeville through and through, and that's one thing I like to kind of just let my guys know that that's who made me, and that's a city that's going to be important to me forever.
So if you're a hop and a skip from Oxford, did you grow up rooting for the Ole Miss Rebels?
Sadly, I wasn't. I was an LSU fan.
Okay.
I was an LSU fan just because I liked the way that those guys played defense. They had the Jamal Adams, Tyrann Matthews, Mo Claiborne, all those guys, whoever played at LSU. And I just liked their swag about it. Plus, Ole Miss didn't recruit me, so I was a little salty about that one. But like I said, it was a great time, and that's kind of who I lean more so, not really an Ole Miss and Mississippi State guy.
All right, LSU, and do you still? I know you root for the Redhawks, obviously, but do you still root for the Tigers?
Nah, I got too much on my plate.
Okay.
I got way too much on my plate.
Forget about the Fighting Tigers. We're thinking about the Fighting Redhawks.
Yeah, we got to win some games as a Redhawks.
Well, thanks so much for what you do for the football team. Thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all for having me.
All right, that is Quin Jones, outside linebackers coach. Back to get a final word on the opponent coming up on Saturday, the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. Coach Tuke rejoins us when we come back. It's the Coaches Show from Wings on SEMO ESPN. Segment here on the Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. Thanks to Quin Jones, the outside linebackers coach, for joining us. I can see why you like Quin Jones. He's got a good and a big personality.
Yeah, got a huge ceiling, and excited about helping him improve, and I'm excited that he gets to invest in our guys. He's what I want our young people to end up being.
Going to be a long time before we have another home football game. It's 2 more on the road, and I'm trying to think. We've been to Thibodaux, Louisiana, maybe not, but I did Google it, 8 hours on that trip. So you got some long bus trips coming up, and it's over 5 to get to Cookeville, Tennessee.
Yep, it'd be a tough road trip. I'm glad that it's a 1:30 game. because it's really not the drive there. It's when you get back so late, it leads into your next week.
What do we get back at, like 3:30 from the Eastern Kentucky trip?
Yeah, so we start at 1:30. I think we'll be able to get back maybe by midnight or something, 1 o'clock, which is way better than 3 or 4. So I think they struggled early. They played 5 quarterbacks. They've settled on this high school kid. Got a big road win. South Carolina State played well. Their defense has really kind of played well all year. Statistically, they're up there with Eastern Illinois. Just a really good defense. Offensively is where they struggled, and they turned the ball over. But this last game, they didn't turn it over at all. This high school freshman really had a nice game. And so I'm sure they're going to be pretty confident and feel like they got a shot to beat the Redhawks, and they should. So
they have the number 4 scoring defense in the league.
Yeah. So they're doing a nice job, and we need a great week of prep.
Can you have an advantage going into a football game when you have the ability to maybe confuse a young quarterback? Like the last 5 quarterbacks you play, I mean, these guys are 60 year, 50 year. I mean, these guys have played a ton of football. This guy hasn't.
Yeah. So that's what you got to do. We got to figure him out because we don't have a lot of film on him. So you're trying to process who he is and all that. We may have to look at some high school stuff. And then, you got to make him play left-handed, because that's what, if you got holes in your game at quarterback, coordinators and defenses are going to find it. And if that's the case, they're going to make you beat him that way. And so we got to, I don't know what his is. So we got to find that out. Get our pass defense on track.
All right. What is your focus this week in practice leading up to Tennessee Tech?
Obviously, the turnover margin, because that's a big concern. And then just building our character. Like, you're hard to beat when you're good at the little things, but you're not good at the little things when you don't have that kind of character. And so we're just really trying to get better at those little things that'll make the big thing happen, like a championship.
Why are you so good in the red zone?
Got balance, so we can run it when it's there, but we've also been able to throw it. And our field goal kicker's been crushing it. And so those are all recipes for that, and haven't turned it over. So that's probably our main reasons.
All right, the Redhawks were number 1 in the nation in red zone offense. We'll have to see where the stats are when they're released later today. Coach, thanks so much for the time, and I guess we'll see you Friday as we head to Cookeville, Tennessee.
Sounds good. Go Redhawks.
All right, that is Coach Tom and Tukowitz. Stay tuned. We'll get you back into regular programming here on ESPN Radio. We'll be back in the Cape Wings Etc. location next week. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. So long from Wings Etc. in Dexter.